everybody, it's me, Raven Flower. Well, okay, it's been a while since and apparently Katie Fur. Katie, say hello. You say hello? She says hello. It's been a while since I've done a video, I think just myself. There's been lots of collaborations recently, and they're great. I think they're wonderful. But I have been real busy. And we're going into that season where we got lots of stuff going on. And I wanted to get a little serious with you guys. I think that as my cousin said today on the phone, or was it yesterday on the phone? I'm not sure. Sorry, Katie Fur. You know, there's an elephant in the room. There's a big elephant in the room for a lot of people. It's not it's not a joke. It's not something that we make up for attention. It's not any of that. But, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have been abused as children, been abused as spouses, been abused as, just abused by either friendships or different other relationships. And we have to somehow figure out how to survive, how to have social interaction again, how to forgive, how to move on, how to overcome. I've had people tell me that, you know, things in my past, and these were some family members that I actually don't even talk to anymore, that it said, oh, you're just freaking out. It's just in your mind's eye, and that never happened. And I'm like, yeah, it did. Yeah, it absolutely did. And before I get into all of that and what had happened to me, I don't want to go for a play-by-play on what happened or go into like a lot of detail. I'm sure that a lot of you guys can figure that out on your own. I am totally willing to answer any questions that anybody has as long as they're appropriate. Understand that these are also still some triggers for me. I am pretty confident and secure now, but it's taken me a long time to get there. And again, another reason for this video is the fact that we are going into winter. I am very much a witch that goes according to seasons. Except for summer, I seem to hibernate in the summer because I hate the freaking heat. And once we move, that won't be a problem for me anymore. Because where we're moving to has a wonderful summer, you know, in the 70s and 80s. It gets 80 and they're like, oh my God, it's so hot. And here in Texas, it's like 100 and... I have seen the heat index up to 112. Now, I'm sure that's nothing compared to New Mexico and Arizona and some other places. But I just can't. I just can't do the heat anymore. It zaps my energy and I'm just done. Sippy cup. It's wine. So let me wine some more. Okay. Well, us going into winter, it is the perfect time to do shadow work. I have been apparently doing shadow work long before I was even a witch. I'm a fixer. I like to fix relationships. I like to smooth the path for people. I like to put people back together or introduce people so that their friendship or relationship can grow. I'm pretty good at it, I think. If I'm not, then, you know, tell me. But I have been doing shadow work for a very long time in the form of counseling, in the form of self-discovery, in the form of self-evaluation. Shadow work is no joke. You have to get down to the nitty-gritty. You have to basically get to the root of the problem. Imagine your issue is a plant, right? Imagine it's got all these beautiful, you know, leaves and foliage and even flowers on it or whatever. It's grown into this great big thing, right? Well, you can prune at it and you can feel better for a little while, or you can rip that shit out. Rip it out of the ground. Rip it out of the ground, get it all the root so it doesn't grow back. It doesn't grow back and continue to haunt you. I have seemed to have several people that have gravitated towards me that are either being physically abused or mentally abused or emotionally abused by their spouses, by their parents, or were abused when they were younger. I have been, again, so we're gonna get to some nitty gritty stuff. So I should probably put a disclaimer right here that we're gonna get real thick. It's gonna get really super thick in here. And behind this camera, I have a black candle, a white candle, a red candle so that I'm feeling the love for myself. I've got candles for my goddesses. I'm ready, set, go. So if this is anything that could trigger you right now and you're not ready for it, then turn off this camera. Turn off the video. If you're not ready for it, it's going to hit you upside the head and it's going to freaking hurt. So, it's just been a long time. People have been asking me things and maybe intuitively they knew. So I thought that I would address the elephant in the room and actually talk about some things and get nitty gritty. Because we are going into winter, and is this meow, 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 Siggy? What? No, nobody wants to talk to me. Whatever. But because we are going into winter, this is the perfect time to deal with your shit. Perfect time. You can pick any time of the year, but winter, something about winter, something about hunker. Now they're going to scratch the carpet, I swear. Guinness, psst. Hey, please, no, honey. Psst, psst, psst. He don't care. All right. Anywho, being winter is a great time to hunker down. It just falls in line. You know, you're hunkered down. You're not as active. At least some people aren't. Most people aren't as active in the winter as they are in the summer. There's lots of vacations and things to do in the summer and all that other stuff. In wintertime, there's the holidays. But after the holidays, what do? You're like, wait for Valentine's Day, St. Patty's. I don't know, but then it's springtime and everybody's out and about. So winter is a perfect time for this. Perfect time. Okay, so I received a phone call yesterday from one of my family members to inform me that another family member who's fairly close to us is being abused, and they were also abused when they were children. This person hasn't gotten help, has smoothed it over, denied that anything has happened, and just sort of rolls that way. Well, that is one way of taking care of their problem. I will say dealing with their problem, and it's just dealing with it. And they're going to have to keep dealing with it. It's going to keep coming up until they choose is the key word here, choose to do something about it. I have several female friends and some male friends. So, okay, I have friends that have issues with self-confidence. We all are, get down on ourselves every now and again. But when you buy into it and you don't believe that you have power, that you're worth a damn, if you keep in your negative patterns and you just start to believe what somebody told you long ago, which was a lie, and it was a lie to probably control you in some way. It was a lie to get something from you in some way. It was a lie because they feel crappy about themselves, and so they wanted to make you feel crappy so that they could feel elevated. I don't know why people say some nasty shit to some others, because words do have a lot of power. And as we entertain those words, we start to believe it, and it starts to manifest within us, and we have doubt in ourselves, doubt in our abilities, doubt in relationships. We become broken, battered, sad people that, they kind of spin their wheels like this. They go for years like this, not realizing, oh my God, I'm super tired. Or, God, I'm always tired. How come nothing ever happens for me? How come, everybody leaves me out? How come, all this other stuff? It's just lies. Lies, people. There's nobody leaving you out. There is no one, you're tired because you're choosing to be tired. And here's a little tip with dealing with spirits. So when you are negative and in that frame of mind, they feed off of it. You are fearful of something, and that's why you're not doing the shadow work. That's why you're not dealing with your problem, because you're too uncomfortable and you don't want to face it and you don't know what to do with it, and so you don't get the proper help. Well, help comes with you. It starts with you first. It starts with you first. You can be reading books. You can be literally get a pad, get a notebook, get just a spiral notebook. I mean, it could be a cheapy thing from the dollar store. You don't have to spend money like crazy on this. You find 4 quarters together and you get yourself a little book. Then you start writing down your biggest fears, your biggest problems, things that you want to overcome, and then you start dealing with it by ripping out that problem by the root. You start facing it and you start taking it down to different levels until you get to that bottom root, bottom of the root. And then you yank that shit out by dealing with it, by pretty much absorbing yourself in it. Somebody in our community, I believe, is going through that, and I've seen a change in her. We all know Ember. And, Ember's chosen to do that. And you know what? That takes a lot of fucking balls to do that. It takes a lot. It's not easy. And some people are like, oh my God, well, where did she go? And she's just making it up and it's just drama. No, that's not drama. That's not drama at all. You can go into lots of other channels and you can find yourself some drama. What that is a very big grown-up thing to do. That's adulting, people. That's what that is. That's adulting. And we choose sometimes not to adult, right? We choose. So, kind of like Ember, you've got to remove yourself from the drama, from this crap, that's giving you grief, and you start handling one thing at a time. You start breaking it down, and that's also what I did. So I'll stop using Ember as something to compare, as somebody to compare her situation. I don't personally know, so I can't really speak on it. So I don't mean any disrespect, but I am just admirable, or I admire the fact that she did what she needed to do for herself in the way that she did it. At first I didn't understand what was happening, but now I get it. And I'm really proud of her. I think that that's pretty awesome, the way she's gone about herself, and I think that's an example to others. And again, I really do not know her personally. We've talked a little bit on Facebook messaging, just like little Facebook posts, but nothing more than that. So I don't want you guys to have the opinion that I know what's going on in her life. I really don't. But I do know what's going on in mine. And I do know what's going on in some others. Definitely. Let's just use me. I'm going to go real fast with this because some people are like, well, you aren't worthy. You haven't been through some real stuff, so you really don't know what you're talking about. Well, I can tell you that I have. When I was born to a teenage mom, she was 14, and the crap was beaten out of her, and so she ran by her stepdad, I believe. And while she was pregnant with me, she ran to go live with her father, who beat the crap out of her and her brother and her sisters and so on and so forth. So I apparently, I was born to her, and we shared a bed. And my grandfather, my aunt told me all this because she was in the bed next to them. My grandfather didn't want a 14-year-old daughter, to have a baby. So he took me out of her bed, and she tried to grab me, and he's like, stop, I'm going to handle this. And wrapped me up in a blanket and put me in the trash can. I was a week old, maybe a week. My aunt didn't know what to do, cried herself to sleep, but my mother, already being broken, I mean, just broken. My mother has suffers from manic depressive, and she's also schizophrenic, and lives a tragic life. We don't have have communication anymore. She's completely broken and chooses to stay broken. So I didn't want that for my family, for my kids. I didn't want that. So that's why we don't have a relationship. I wish things were different, but they're not. And I have finally had to be okay with that. I've finally had to release her and let her go. So my aunt, the next morning they get ready for school, and she knows I'm still out there, and she fakes that she had left a book behind, so she had to go get the book off of the bus, and she went and told the neighbor what had happened to me. And she said when they came home from school, I was in the crib. Now, a couple of days later, I went to go be with my Aunt Angie, and I didn't know this until recently. And I thought that was pretty awesome. So my Aunt Angie, who is my spirit guide, one of my spirit guides, because I think there's another one coming on board, and I'm very grateful for. She was my mom. She was my mom when I really, really needed one. So I went back and forth with Aunt Angie for a long time, back and forth, back and forth. My mother ended up coming back, figuring things out. She was hospitalized for her condition, and bounced around throughout the family. So I was abandoned at several different households that had to become emergency foster parents for me. In high school, I was beaten so badly, I was put in the hospital by my mother and my stepfather, who literally passed by me being beaten and did nothing at all. I went into teen shelters and whatnot, where my hair would be cut in my sleep, where they would try to cut your clothes, they would try to cut you. You slept with one eye open, and there were workers there that just loved to watch the drama, and so they never came in and helped. Then I get into a foster home where they are drug dealers. And sometimes the teenage girl in the other room could be taken advantage of, which would be me. And random guys and gals would come in and do stuff to me. And I think you guys get the gist. And I learned really quickly how to leave my body and just allow them to do what they needed to do, because the times that I did fight, I would be hit or, abused on top of the sexual abuse. So I learned real quick how to just sort of give in and give up, and just let them do what they needed to, so that they would hurry up and go on. And one day I was just overcome with everything, and the only phone number that I knew was my step-grandparents. I called them and told them what was happening to me. And I don't think that they believed me at first, but I'm so glad that they finally did. And my step-grandparents contacted the authorities, got me out of there, and helped me, and helped me. They took me in. And this was my junior year of high school. So it's like my adolescence was gone. I had nothing. I didn't have a childhood. I really didn't. And I arrived at their house already pregnant, not knowing I was pregnant, and then had a baby, and chose to give the baby up for adoption. I picked his parents, handpicked his parents, and he is very happy now and doing very well. So I had to go through all that. So I've had to give a baby up, and it's rough. It's rough. It is rough sometimes. Mother's Day, birthday is really hard for me. It's really super hard for me, especially when my own mother doesn't want me, and then now it's like generations of that kind of pain. So, so there you have that. I end up very quickly my 21st birthday, hooking up with this guy who was, really good looking, really super good looking, just came out of basic training, and hooked up with him. And after seeing him for 2 weeks, I'm pregnant. And his family was Irish Catholic, and so there was no choice. We were getting married. I didn't want to get married, but I was pushed into it. And he went to Bosnia. I had the baby by myself, and I had to be a single mom and deal with all this stuff. And a family who really didn't like me at all. And mind you, I don't have any relations with my mother's side of the family. I only have my adopted stepdad's family to go off of. So I felt like I was completely out of place and didn't know where to find. I didn't know where to look for any type of normalcy. I did not know my father at this time. My father was told that my mother had gotten an abortion, so he didn't know I even existed until I was 24. I was 24. My daughter was 2 years old, almost 3 years old, before my dad came into my life. When my dad came into my life, lots of things changed. A lot of stuff that I was told, I found out wasn't true. And we together got to pick, put the pieces back together. My one cousin, Sarah, she is also, the one I've talked about in other videos, she is a level 1 Reiki master, and she's going on to her level 2 right now. She's pretty awesome. And she and I can talk on many different levels about many different things. They had similar issues happen to them, my cousins. Not all of my cousins. I don't want you to think that every single one of them, we're all damaged. No. But we're all fighters, and we've had to be. So all that happens. Sarah and I get close, and then signs of what I was totally devastated about when I was a child started appearing in my first marriage. My ex-husband came back from Bosnia with PTSD, and at that time they didn't offer help for that, so he went through some pretty horrific stuff and couldn't talk about it, and then just started to abuse, and it got bad, and I left, and pretty much the rest is history at this point. I was lucky enough to find my husband now, and it's been 16 years, and I have never felt as safe and secure as I've ever been because of this man. Taught me how to overcome a lot of stuff, and it wasn't easy, and I didn't want to do the work. I was scared to death. I used anger like a drug. Absolutely. I would get high off of anger, and it's like anger would push me through to the next thing, and felt like I could take care of myself that way, but really that was just a lie. And I want to really emphasize that if you've had some similar things, if you're going through self-doubt, feeling down about yourself, if you have some sort of depression, if you have any of that kind of stuff, it is very, very plausible that you have some sort of soul-sucking spirit attached to you. They love this shit. They love it. This is how they get stronger. So I emphasize to you, the number one thing that you can do is start believing in yourself. Start believing in yourself. Start loving yourself. You've got to love yourself first before you can properly and efficiently love somebody else in a relationship. Your relationship starts with you. So that is definitely number one. Number two, start getting help, whatever that looks like, whatever you're comfortable with. If that is a holy person, in your church, or whatever that looks like, if that is a high priest for you, is that a Reiki master, is that a shaman, get help with somebody who knows their shit. I have spoken many times in my videos about Edward over at the Crystal Mystic. I had no clue when I went to him what was wrong with me. I had no idea what the heck Akashic records were. I had never heard the term before until he mentioned it. And that man saved my life. I had a spirit attached to me that wanted to kill me. And I believe in past lives, and I didn't really before, but I certainly do now, because things have come to me now that it's been revealed. But this spirit had killed me in my last 6 lives. I've committed suicide in my last 6 lives just because of this nasty entity attached to me. The spirit loved making me angry. It got stronger every time I did. Every time I flew off the handle. Every single time I would fuss at my kids for nothing. It just grew. It just grew, and it got stronger and stronger and stronger. Hold on 1 second. Let me take a drink. So, when that got detached from me, I could see things. I could see things differently in my life and my relationships, and things were a lot clearer. And Edward was very clear in the fact that I needed, it's going to come back. It's going to try to make its way in somehow, some way, because it's been attached to me for that long. So I have to be strong. I've got to be strong, and I got to be prepared. And so when those thoughts start coming into my brain again, I'm like, nope, that's not my reality. That's you. That's not me. And you're not welcome here. You're banished. And I had to keep that front. And it took a good solid 2 months for me to really feel better. I was talking to my friend about this today on the phone, and shared with her, my kind of rite of passage, if you will, in how I got better. It's not easy. I'm not asking you to do this because I think it's a fun little hobby. I'm asking you, or I'm encouraging you, to fix yourself now. You can unfuck yourself. Believe it or not, you have that power. What I'm inviting you to do is to take back your power. I have seen so many people make excuses for their current, their present because of their past. Well, my mom is not hovering over me right now. My ex-husband is not here abusing me. So it doesn't give me the right to be an asshole. It doesn't give me a right to be a loser. It doesn't give me the right to treat others disrespectfully, nasty, or whatever. It doesn't give me a right to be lazy. It doesn't. It doesn't give me the right. Yeah. Sometimes people are a product of their own environment, or their environments growing up that were really, really shitty. But you know what? Don't ever tell me your life is too hard, that you can't handle it, that you don't know what to do. It's like, yeah, okay, we all go through that. But what are you doing right now to get out of it? Because your choice is to stay there, is to wallow, is to make excuses. Those excuses are not going to help you move to the next level in your life. It's not going to make you happy. It's not. So I really encourage you to take back your power. Take it back. Before all that shit happened to you, take your life back. If you are in the witchy community, I'm sure you feel it. If you are a witch, if you are sensitive, if you're an empath, I'm sure that you feel something nasty is coming. I don't know if it's Donald Trump. I don't know what it is. But the world is getting worse. So we need to get stronger. We need to be prepared to fight. And the longer that we do this, oh, I don't know what's happening to me, and I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know, and I don't know, and I don't know, it's not helping any of us. It's not making you stronger. It's not making you a warrior. It's not helping your kids. It's not helping your husband. It's not helping your wife. It's not helping anything. It's just keeping you miserable. So get the fuck up and do something about it. Take back your life. Take back your happiness. Take it back. I really encourage you to take back your power. I will be open. I will be here for questions. No, I can't answer them all at one time, so I appreciate your patience. But there's so much more that has happened to me. So much more. And I'm happy to share it with you. I'm pretty much transparent. I've gone through years of therapy and an entire year of shadow work. And now this practice is just exactly where I should be. And I truly enjoy connecting with others and helping if I can. I know I'm busy. Sometimes I can't help the busyness. Sometimes it's out of my control. But I am down to help if I can. I am not a licensed therapist. I do not have a doctorate. I do not have a degree in psychology or any of that stuff. I don't. But I do have 42 years of experience. And I have been through some shit. And I have managed to make my way out of it. And I'm doing really well. So I encourage you, take your power back. Take it back. Stop wasting time and take it back. Be a happier person. Make a difference for yourself and for your family. Blessed be y'all. Heart, stars, and clovers. I wish you much, much love.